Good morning, everyone. My tablet's being weird. So, you're gonna give me a second here because my tablet is on. It's working. Seems to be working. And now it's working. It wasn't loading. I was like, the live stream is starting and I need to get this up and running. So, give me a second while I load chat and see what's going on. But in the meantime, let's talk while I load chat. Let's get things up and running. Let's do whatever. Oh, I realize, I'm sorry. I need to go ahead and turn off my Do Not Disturb in case I get calls doing this thingy. Dismiss my offer. Nope, I don't want YouTube. We want the BoardGameCo live Q&A. I mean, I do want YouTube. I guess YouTube is very much a defining aspect of my life. Let's pull up the questions. Let's figure this all out. Make sure my audio is all down. So, basically, let's talk about this morning in the meantime. Good morning. Thoughts of Merchants of Magic. Okay, we're going to get into all this stuff shortly. Let's go ahead and watch. My 3-year-old grabbed the book from the library that's about Chulent. How is Chulent pronounced? I love it. I love it so much. Chulent. It's Chulent. It's not a ch, because I know it's confusing, because Judaism has a lot of ch sounds. Ch, chala, ches. I don't know. What's another ch sound? I have no clue. There's lots of ch sounds. But, anyways, the ch sounds are usually ch in Judaism is very often pronounced ch, a hard ch. It's one of those, it's a guttural sound that's not always easy. People often do cha. So they'll be like, oh, it's chala. No, it's chala. But in the case of Chulent, weirdly enough, I've never thought of this, but it's not chulent, it's Chulent. So for example, there's Chulent, which is Cholent, which is basically it's a stew effectively. It's potatoes, it's beans. It's not always perfect. It's not always the same thing, but it's often potatoes, beans, meat, rice are like the main kinds of things you'll see in it. And then the flavorings and other things thrown in are going to be varied. But then there's challah, not chala, challah, which is Challah. Why? I don't know. English is a funny language. In any case, past that, let's talk about a bunch of different things. So, number one. First of all, I was going to start off the live stream by saying, hey, I'm expecting to be interrupted any second, but fortunately, it happened before the live stream, so we're good. The reason I was expecting to be interrupted any second is because the water pressure in this neighborhood on the street is not great right now. Yesterday decided to be like 0 water pressure, which has made everything fun. And so and on one end of the street, there's like water bubbling up completely, like the whole street. Like this, it's obviously a burst pipe or something. So they shut off the water for 4 hours and they fixed it. Great. It's not great being without water for 4 hours. It's hard. You can't like flush the toilet, go to the bathroom, wash your hands, you get a drink. Fortunately, I do have seltzer in the fridge all ready to go. So I had a drink, my coffee. This is after my morning coffee and before my afternoon coffee. So it was all fine. Then, whatever they did or fixed had it resulting in the pipe on the other end of the street bursting instead. So there must be some sort of pressure issue, and when they fixed the pressure, it found another weak spot. That seems to be, I am not an engineer, I am not an expert. All I know is if you fix one end of the street and the other end of the street breaks, I feel like that's got to be a pressure issue. Like, I'm not a scientist, I'm not an engineer, it's just instinctively that's what makes sense. Why do you have 2 different sides of the street breaking at the same time? And then to double down on that, so by the way, so water's out for like 4 hours last night. No, not 4 hours, I lie. 6 hours last night from like, I think 6:30 p.m. till like 12:30 a.m. is when the water went back on. Which is great, because guess who didn't get any showers last night? The kids. The kids did not get any showers last night. I don't know, I'm telling the entire internet. Well, not the entire internet, like 42 people on the internet, that my kids didn't get a shower last night, but they didn't get a shower last night. They also had to be monitoring of, that when and where they flush toilets, because we only got 2 toilets in the house, and we only had 2 reservoirs of flushes worked up. So these are all the fun things you get to do when you have 4 kids in the house, which is all fine. At 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. actually, I went to bed. I took a shower because I was like, I'm going to take a shower now. I was debating taking one in the morning, but I was like, I'll take a shower now. This is all story time, apparently. We're going to get back into the chat in a second. There's a whole chat going on. It's all a thing. Anyways, but so then I went to bed. And then in the morning, I woke up with the water pressure being broken again, in the sense that you could have water in the house, but it's like a trickle of water, because the original spot that they fixed the first time burst again. Again, my whole conversation about pressure and the nature of what I assume has to be a pressure issue in the game. So that's kind of where things are. Oh, and then I just got so I've been waiting for an announcement that they're going to be shutting off the water again for another 4 hours while they fix that and hope it doesn't break again. I don't know what's going on. And that doorbell ring happened like a second before live stream, which is also why the tablet wasn't ready, because I was getting all ready. Anyways, that's where we are. So let's go ahead and have this conversation. Let's go ahead and catch up with the chat. That's my morning. The morning, yeah, general lead with thoughts on Merchants of Magic with 2 expansions. I like Merchants of Magic. I haven't played with the expansions. I don't know if they would change my mind. I obviously haven't played them, so I can't say for sure. I think Merchants of Magic is a good game that I actively enjoy, that I actively recommend. But when it comes to roll and rights, I've had to get rid of a lot of good games, and Merchants of Magic was one of them. I am open to getting it back. Like if they send me the game and the expansions to cover, I'll happily play them. I don't know if it'll be a keeper for me. I think that I have to make hard choices of. I'm looking at my roll and rights. I have to make hard choices about which roll and rights I have time for, and I frequently get rid of good ones because you don't have time for everything. Let's see. So I made a chilling conversation. Vimrividas, what do you think about the Command Deceased game? I think Command has gotten very good at utilizing the titles that do work for them. You know, Marvel United, Zombicide, slapping on IPs that are too tempting for others to pass up, and then selling those. And then you and me and others end up getting those, even though we totally don't need more. Now, that's not me being critical, by the way. That's just an observation. I like Zombicide as a system. I like Marvel United as a system. I saw a comment yesterday, someone saying, oh, now that they're doing DC Zombicide, do we think DC United is next? Yes, we think DC United is next. That's not insider information. I just assume that we'll see DC United, Harry Potter United, and Star Wars United at some point in the future. Whether we see Star Wars Zombicide, I think Star Wars Zombicide and Harry Potter Zombicide, I think might represent too much of a fracture to the IPs that I think they'd have a hard time getting approval for those IPs. But DC United and Harry Potter United and Star Wars United, I think Command would be a fool not to try to engage in those. And I know that they've worked with the, I think that it's in combination with the Op, right? Is it in combination with the Op? Or is it another company? Who else? It's Command. It's not the Op. Who do they do it with? Darn it. Either way, I can't remember who they've worked with. Who is it? Am I missing this? I don't know. We'll see. Whatever it is, I'm blanking on Marvel United with Spin Master. Spin Master, that's who it is. Does Spin Master have rights to Star Wars or Harry Potter on anything? That might be the question, because they're working with the association with Spin Master. That's where they're getting the licensing rights from. So I don't know for sure. But yeah, I think that oh, and to answer the question about the game, I haven't played the game, so I can't comment on the game. I can't comment on it. I don't know. I haven't played it yet. I will be playing it, but I can't comment on it yet. Happy Pancake. Hello. Good morning, Happy Pancake. So about me. Yay, I have not been butchering it. Yes, the one time in Judaism where the CH is pronounced ch is chillant. I don't know why. It's such a Jewish word too. Like it should be cholent, or just spell it differently. It's bothering me. MS for Meeple, how's your job going? MS for Meeple, are you referring to YouTube my job or GameFound my job? Those are two different questions, and I don't know which one to answer, so I'll wait for you to clarify. Jonathan, I mean, good in both cases, but there's still more nuance and conversation around them. Jonathan Palermo, hey, good morning. Wondering if I should be concerned about the Primal Kickstarter fulfillment. Yikes. Is there anything happening there, or just because of the delays? I mean, I think that is the question. Is there anything happening, or is it just the delays? Let me know why. If it's just the delays, I think it was an ambitious project, and I think that the delays suck, but delays are not unusual, and they happen. If it's something more than that, let me know. I mean, I guess nowadays you should always be concerned just in case. Raja and I-29, what are your thoughts on companies charging freight as shipping instead of raising the MSRP? I think that's an important thing to do. So for context here, the companies have, more freight costs, and instead of raising the MSRP, which is typically where freight goes, what they're doing is they're charging it more shipping. Why is that happening? So I cannot speak from the side of being an actual company, but I can speak from the side of knowing the industry to a degree, and I'm pretty sure this is an accurate answer, but take it with a grain of salt. I'm not a manufacturer, so I'm peripherally answering. But effectively, when you raise the when you incorporate a cost into the MSRP, it enters into that 4-to-1 or 5-to-1 multiplier. Basically, the cost of producing a game, let's say, is $10. Then you sell that game to $20. For $20, you sell that game to the distributor. The distributor sells that game for $30 to the what's it called, to the person who the local game store or whatnot, and the local game store sells it to you for anywhere between $40 to $60, depending on whether they are a local game store or an online game store, all of that. But generally, effectively, there's a 4 parts of where the money from a game goes. 1/4 goes to the original person who's making the game. Stonemaier Games gets 1/4, the distributor gets 1/4, the game store gets 1/4, and 1/4 goes to manufacturing. Those are the 4 quarters of where your cost goes, and it's a rough number. That's why it's 1 in 4 versus 1 in 5. It does determine a lot, MSRP, all of those things. But if you have if the cost of a game goes up by, let's say, just make up a number here, if the cost of a game goes up by $6 because of freight costs, either that gets passed on to you directly as a $6 cost, or they have to raise the MSRP by $24 because of the quarters. It's not a hard and firm rule, but you can't just have an MSRP that doesn't have the right ratios in place. It's a complicated conversation around pricing and the nature of the distribution network. That's what it comes down to. But yeah. What are your thoughts on companies? Don Boots, wow, your live production is just as good as your video production. What is this voodoo? This voodoo is called Streamlabs. It's just the same camera I use for like, hey, I'm Alex Radical from BoardGameCo, and today we're reviewing Critter Kitchen. Critter Kitchen is a 1 to 5 player, it's not a 1 to 5 player, it's a 2 to 5 player. Critter Kitchen is a 2 to 5 player game of action selection where you're going to go ahead and place your people down in order to gather as many ingredients as possible as you race for as many points as possible. Disclaimer, this is a prototype, and I'll have a link to the crowdfunding campaign down below. All those things. That's just like the same cameras, the same everything. It all goes through Streamlabs, just sometimes it goes to a video file, and other times it goes live to you on the other end. So, also, welcome aboard the live show. I appreciate you being here. Happy Pancake, what do you think of DEI solo? Is it worth it? I'll let you know when I play it solo. I should play it solo at some point. I haven't yet. Go West. Chillant is excellent. Spoken as a man who knows. Chillant, by the way, go West, or West. Chillant is not always excellent. Chillant has the capacity to be one of the better foods you will ever experience. If you like really, really heavy food that will really pay the price for it. Chillant is the Jewish Taco Bell. I have to imagine Chillant is a Jewish Taco Bell. But Chillant also has the potential to be utter garbage that doesn't taste that great. Like I said, Chillant is the Jewish Taco Bell. So, yeah, I think Chillant can be amazing, though. It used to be one of my go-to game night foods. That and Kugel. Kugel. K-U-G-E-L. Kugel is... And again, Kugel also has a range of how good it can be, but good Kugel can be divine. Aaron Taylor, hello everyone. Sindeka, have you had a chance to play Mordred? No, I have not, nor have I spoken to anyone who's played the game personally, so no answers there. Ali Glidden, good day everyone. Machine Gun Devil Dog, old pipes, or it's an age issue, not an engineer, but you did play Barrage probably, so I mean playing Barrage basically makes me an expert in all things pipes. Harv's K, I recognize what I just said. I'm gonna move on. Good morning. Any plans on checking out Unmatched Adventures? The Dice Tower Files gave perhaps the highest collective score I've ever seen from the channel. Holy, what kind of score did they give Unmatched Adventures? Anyways, I mean, the highest collective score, I mean, Earth got like 10, 10, 9.5, 9.59 or something like that. I don't know what it was. Earth was insane. How is it higher than that? That said, I did not like Unmatched as a head-to-head skirmish game. I was interested in Unmatched Adventures because I think the system that Unmatched has doesn't work for me as a skirmish game, but would work for me as a cooperative game. So I am interested in it, but interested is not the same as playing it. So will I get it at some point? I imagine so, but I'm not in a rush for it. Samuel, excited for Unmatched Tales to Amaze? I mean, there's that question. Okay, same thing. Michael, have you had a chance to play Evacuation yet? No, sadly not. I do want to play it. Hiro Tsushi, HP would sell for me? I think. So Star Wars United... I'd get it. My kids would want it. I'd want it. But Harry Potter United, I think, has the capacity to be really, really well done. There's a host of Harry Potter villains. Not the same rosters you have in the Marvel Universe, but there's a host of Harry Potter villains you can pull from as a center figure. And the idea of it kind of being a school as you move around the various locations in the school, like, I think it really works for the system. I think that works more so than any of the systems. I think Harry Potter United really works well for the system. Who could you have as, like, playing both sides? You could have Snape as a purple figure. Yeah, Snape could be a purple figure. He could be an enemy boss, and he could be a good figure. That could be fun. Anyone else who could be nuanced? I don't know. Are there any other nuanced characters in the Harry Potter universe? I mean, I guess, what's his name? Who's the rat? The rat person, or I'm blanking on his name, but the rat person in theory could be nuanced, but no one wants to play as him as a hero. So we'll see. But either way, Harry Potter United. Come on, you heard it here first. I've actually been talking about it for a long time now, but come on, you heard it here second. Unless, of course, you've been talking about it, which you should have. So come on, you probably heard it at your own offices first. HP is all for me. Bring on the DC United. I'll save my money for that. I'd love Star Wars Zombies, the Zombie Stormtroopers. I'm not saying Star Wars Zombies wouldn't be fun. I'm saying that Marvel and DC, in general, IPs always have to protect their image. And it works for Marvel and DC because they already have zombies. So for Star Wars to do it, or for Harry Potter to do it, is a breach in the way their IPs are perceived, which could have ramifications. I guess you're saying, if you're saying zombie stormtroopers versus just stormtroopers, I mean, in theory, if you don't have zombicide, but you have a zombicide system, but you don't have zombies at all, that could be doable, but I don't see that happening. How long till Marvel Death May Die? Oh. That's a fair question. Will they slap Marvel onto the Death May Die IP? So Death May Die, I mean, they might, and I'd get it, I know. I hate myself sometimes, I really do. not hate myself. I am disappointed with my actions and decisions in life. Anyways, I get it, but I really think Cthulhu Death May Die works well as a theme there. Robbie Sanger, Spin Master, thank you, I appreciate it. We need good Harry Potter games. We have a Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, lots of fun. Not necessarily the best game ever, but I still have it, and I get rid of games a lot. Hi Alex, will you make a video about The Witcher Path of Destiny? Almost certainly, I will have mid-campaign coverage. The reason for that, practically speaking, is because I have the prototype. I've played the game already. I've played the game multiple times already. But the problem is the prototype I have arrived with miniatures that are broken and fractured, and I reached out to them and said, hey, can I just do the video anyway? And they're like, no, we really want the good minis. So they're sending me replacement miniatures, but those are running late, which I respect. They want the right game showcased, but it does mean I'll have mid-campaign coverage instead of early campaign coverage. Overall, I like the game. It does not blow me away the same way. The Witcher, the old world, I love as a system. The Witcher Path of Destiny, I really enjoy as a system. Obviously, conflict of interest, GameFound, all those things, take that into account as well. How do you balance being informative and entertaining? Oh, this is a fun question. Francois, how do you balance being informative and entertaining in your board game reviews? I don't aim for entertaining. That's the way I balance it. I don't aim for that at all. In fact, if anyone who calls my reviews entertaining, thank you. I love you. You make me feel really good about myself. So, this is an interesting conversation around... I'm going to talk about Shut Up and Sit Down, and I'm always hesitant to do so because I don't like talking about my peers in any way that could be perceived as critical if I can avoid it. And this is not critical. This is not. But it could be perceived as critical, which is the distinction here. Shut Up and Sit Down, their aim, in my opinion, for their reviews is being entertaining. And that makes their reviews some of the best board game content on the internet. In my opinion, Shut Up and Sit Down has arguably the most entertaining and therefore the best board game content on the internet in terms of being the most watchable. The tricky part is as a viewer, as someone who consumed content for 8 years before I ever produced content, as a viewer, I found that their videos are incredibly entertaining, but almost feel like that's the goal, is to be entertaining. You often have the mid-review pivot, the mid-review shift, or different things like that that make it feel like the goal is to keep you hooked on the review as opposed to informed about the board game. The problem is that most games are not going to be noteworthy enough to be entertaining or have a hook, and so it's hard to do that across a large range of content. And it does mean that I find Shut Up and Sit Down's reviews are usually binary. Either the thing is excessively good or it's excessively bad, because that makes for the most entertaining content with the largest amount of hook. A game that's good, but not excessively good or excessively bad, which is 90% of the games out there, is not entertaining content. And again, this is not a critique. They make some of the best content on the internet, they pull people in, but as a consumer, I found that I latched onto the reviews harder than I've latched onto any other reviews out there, and then over time felt that it was still immensely entertaining. I still watch the reviews. I still find them incredibly entertaining, but it became less informative to me and more theater entertaining. Now, the reason for that context, and again, this is not a critique. They make incredible content. They are incredible people. They have been an asset to the hobby. I just am mindful it could be perceived as a critique. It's just an observation around the types of content people make. And so my content, I specifically don't aim for entertaining because I'm going to sound like a board game snob here, but to me, it's board games all the way down. It's board games first and foremost. To me, the way, like, the most insulting thing people say to me on the channel, it's like, you want to critique my looks, you want to critique how fast I talk, you want to critique anything about my personality, whatever. You want to call me a shill, be my guest. All those things I don't, well, I'm not saying I don't care, but like, I've most of those things bounce off to a degree. The most insulting thing I get on the channel is, this guy doesn't even like board games, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to bring out the swear words now. Like, don't tell me I don't like... I've had people say, like, oh, you know, you don't... This guy looks like someone who doesn't even play board games. I'm like, were you kidding me? I'm up to, like, 2,000... Not up to, but I'm on track to pass 2,000 games played this year. Like, I like board games. And so I don't aim for entertaining. I aim for informative. And granted, if I see a moment to say something funny or do something funny, like, I'll take it, but, like, it's not my goal. I'd say my ramblings, I aim for entertainment. My unboxing and ramblings, I aim for it. I don't know if I hit it. Sometimes I feel sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I find there are some people out there who kind of pick up on the same things that I pick up on. Meaning there are certain things I'll do in an unboxing or rambling, or even just a review, where I'm like, oh, I think that was really funny. I like what I did there. And then some people will pick up on it and catch those as well. So there are times where I think I'm entertaining. More often than not, my goal is to be informative. And if I'm entertaining along the way, that's just a plus. MS People, I wonder how GameFound is going. MS People, GameFound is going well. GameFound is, and it depends on which part. There's a whole long conversation to get into here, but the very short version of it, I kind of touched upon it in my reflection on my year at GameFound. But effectively, GameFound is I think GameFound's an incredible asset to the industry. I think they are, and obviously I'm biased, I work for them, but these are things I said before I worked for them, so take that into account too. But I think GameFound looked at tabletop crowdfunding, which is a huge sector of the industry, and said, we don't think this is being done the way it could be done. How could we make it better? And I think they did that. And now the question from there is making sure that you don't just make the better tools, but you pull the audience in. And so for me, it's a fun job to have. I get to talk to creators. I get to talk to companies who I anyways know or don't know yet, but want to get to know. And I get to network with them and talk with people who I respect in the industry. So it's a fun job that is trending upwards. It is a hard upward sell to convince somebody, hey, your campaign's going to do better on GameFound than Kickstarter. And people are always nervous. The way I usually put it is when I'm talking to creators, let's pretend you as a creator have a $500,000 goal for your project. And I say this when I'm talking to creators, and it happens time and time again. But when I'm talking to creators, they'll be like, oh yeah, I think my project will do 500,000. And I'll say, I think it'll have a hard time hitting 300K, so I'd rather you stay on Kickstarter. Because the hard reality is if you hit 300K right now on Kickstarter, you'll sit there and say, oh, I guess I was wrong. Versus if you hit 300K on GameFound, you're going to be like, that's GameFound's fault. Because Kickstarter, as much as the tools aren't as good as GameFound, they are still the titan in the industry to a large degree, which means even though, and this is an objective, I can go over this with you, but if you look at the past year, the failures on Kickstarter, the things that didn't hit their expected numbers, are happening far, far, far more on Kickstarter and on BackerKit than they are on GameFound. I think on GameFound, most of the games are hitting what they would expect or higher, and on Kickstarter and BackerKit, they are stumbling. I understand that I'm saying that as somebody who works for GameFound. I am happy to get into this on the numbers. I know the industry. I know the games out there. I'm happy to double down that statement with anyone who wants to challenge me on that. But perception-wise, if you have something that goes below what you expected, you will attribute it to GameFound, versus if it's on Kickstarter, you'll attribute it to the industry. And because of the fact that the past year has been very good for GameFound's numbers, and the stumbles have been elsewhere, it has become easier and easier to point out to creators, hey, this platform's knocking it out of the park for you. So I'm happy with the platform. I'm happy with my role there. All those things are great. Where are we now? I wonder how GameFound's going. Stephen Halsell, what is your relationship to Meg? Meg's a friend. She works for the channel. She does a lot of preview content. Yeah. We have Francois. Do you prefer cooperative or competitive board games, and why? I think it depends on the game in question. I think as a whole, I generally get more satisfying. Oh, it's hard. I'm thinking of my top 10. My top 10 is a good mix of competitive and cooperative. I'd say it drifts a bit more competitive, so maybe 60-70% competitive. But I'd say instinctively I lean towards competitive, but it's definitely close. It's very like Too Many Bones, Cthulhu Death May Die. There's some fantastic cooperative games out there. Brian T, morning everyone, a very early Q&A. Brian T, fun fact, the Q&As used to be at 10 a.m. Then I shifted them to 1 p.m. because some people pointed out that on the West Coast, 10 a.m. is 7 in the morning, and no one's got time for a Q&A then. So usually they've been shifted, but today we're trying the early time, just because it worked better for my schedule. Francois, are there any emerging trends and new mechanics in board games that particularly excite you? Not that I can think of at the moment. I mean, the only emerging trend right now is AI, and that doesn't excite me. I'm not as critical of it. I am mindful of its impact while not being as critical of it, but it certainly doesn't excite me. Francois, no, Nev. Hi, Alex. Good morning. How's it going? Francois, what do you think is the most exciting aspect of the board game hobby today, and where do you see it heading in the future? Isn't that the same question to a degree? The most exciting aspect of the board game hobby today. I don't have a good answer on the spot for you. I'm sorry. Jonathan, delays as far as I know. I'm used to long delays, but it's been a very long time. Yeah, it has been a long time for Primal. I thought it would be delivering in July of last year. That did not happen, so I'll be waiting. Then Mihavlia82, I cannot pronounce the name. Will you be part of a preview gameplay for Deceased? Yes, I will be covering Deceased. Eric Mayer, have you gone on the Dice Tower Cruise? If so, did you enjoy it? I have not gone on the Dice Tower Cruise. Practically speaking, the Dice Tower Cruise, from start to finish to go on it, would be like 9 or 10 days. And I have never been away from my kids for that long. Even now, this past year or two, I've been traveling a lot more than I usually do. But like, it is, I can't do a Dice Tower Cruise unless I'm bringing them on it. And I can't afford to bring them on it. So I'm not saying it'll never happen, but it's certainly not happening right now. Francois, were there specific board games that sparked your passion? If so, which ones and why? If you're referring to what games got me in the hobby, it would be Small World and Stone Age are the two games that I attribute to being the 1-2 punch that brought me in. I had played games before. I had played Carcassonne, I had played Game of Thrones, the board game, I had played Catan, and some others, I'm sure. But those were all like over like a 10-year period I played those games. Like I played Game of Thrones, the board game, the first edition, like 2007 or whatever it was. I don't know what it was. Maybe early, I don't know when it was. But either way, to me, Small World and Stone Age were a 1-2 punch that I played them within like a 3-month period, and I was like, holy hell, there are board games. And I looked into it more, and they brought me in the hobby. Why? Because they're fun, they're accessible, they're easy to dive into, they're easy to teach, easy to play, and so they both hooked me between the 1-2 punch of them. Let's see. Steven, is Meg your girlfriend? No. 2 questions. It's 4365. 2 questions. Any thoughts on Gempire Kickstarter being What's the Gempire Kickstarter? I'm not familiar with the Gempire Kickstarter. Have you had any experience with Evacuation? Any idea when we'll be able to purchase? Again, on Evacuation, I want to play Evacuation. There are gameplay videos you can watch out there. I believe Board Game Ramblings covered it, but I'm interested in it. I have not played it. Aaron Taylor, Dathomir, where Darth Maul was from, had zombies. I'm pretty sure in Star Wars canon, although through the Night Sisters, if not Genesis, I brainwashed Star Wars Rebels, Zombicide Star Wars could work. I'm fine with it happening. I'm still skeptical that it happens. I am fine with it happening. I hear your point, but no. Not the no. I hear your point. I'm still skeptical. Eric Meyer, have you ever tried to design a board game? I've written rules for 3 or 4 board games. The biggest problem is I'm not interested in dear Lord, I'm not interested in, in playtesting the game. I'm not interested in playtesting the experience in the sense that I don't want to go through the work it takes to get a game from design to execution. I like the creative process of designing board games. I find that's I used to program, and I find it's a very similar process of writing out a rule set and then trying to anticipate how things will go wrong before you ever try to run the code effectively. I find it's a very similar process. But then you actually have to playtest and put in the work and get art and do all these things. So will it happen one day? Very possibly, but no. Then we have Brian. Alex, I have expressed my disappointment that Spiritfire is not on GameFound. Hopefully Tom and company switch for the next campaign. Brian, Spiritfire is a good example of the thing I just told you. I would have loved to get Spiritfire on GameFound. I tried to get Spiritfire on GameFound. It was a close conversation. Ultimately, they went with Kickstarter, and part of me is relieved because Spiritfire is something that's new. I'm sure they have ambitions, and whatever their internal goals are, if they don't hit those numbers, because it is new, it's ambitious, it's different, if they don't hit those numbers, they're going to look at it and say it's GameFound's fault. I'd rather get them for the next Vindication campaign, the next Unsettled campaign, the next Spiritfire campaign, because then if you look at GameFound has a lot of reprints, and a big part of that is because I chase those harder, we chase those harder, because we know we'd rather not get you for a project and then have you come back later for 10 projects than get you for a project that you're disappointed in and you don't come back. If you come to us for a reprint campaign, you have a more of an objective measure of what to compare it to, and you can see how the platform does. I track the numbers. A reprint campaign on GameFound does 70% higher on average than it does on Kickstarter. Not across the board, it's not a guarantee, but on average, reprint campaigns do 70% more. On Kickstarter, reprint campaigns on average do 30% more. So again, numbers look good for GameFound when you have more objective metrics to look at. Andy was like, oh my god, how are you feeling about Storm Thunder? How do you rate Madara? I haven't played Storm Thunder. I am obviously frustrated with the delays, but also I have tons of games that are not getting played anyway, so it's not a really rush. And Madara, I have only played the tutorial scenario, so I can't comment on that excessively, but I enjoyed the tutorial scenario and I'm excited to dive into it more. Sawyer, are the Dice Stone sleeves worth it? I mean, they're fun, I guess, but they're I don't know if I'd pay for them. I mean, I know I actively did not pay for them, so that might answer that question. Harves, Dice Tower gave Unmatched Adventures 10, 10, 10, and 9.5. First of all, I'm behind in chat, clearly. Wow. Okay, apparently I have to play Unmatched Adventures. Wow. Darvid Torres, top 2 player games. I have at least 2 dedicated videos to this. So if you look BoardGameCo 2-player games, there'll be at least 2 videos that cover this. Offhand, just some. This is not in order. But Paris is amazing. I love Paris. Let's the Mirror. It's amazing. Radlands is amazing. Mythic Mischief is amazing. I'm specifically choosing 2-player games, not games that could be played at 2-player or are good at 2-player. I guess Mythic Mischief could be played at more, but it's a 2-player game. Watergate's amazing. Caesar's amazing. Seven Wonders Duel's amazing. There's lots of great 2-player games. I'm just looking at the shelf. Antique Duellum is amazing. Rum and Bones is amazing. Are you excited about Kings of Rune? not excessively so. I like Kings of Ruin. I enjoyed it. I find narrative-focused games are both something that I like, but also something that I recognize the time investment, and so I generally am less excited about them, while still being, I'm happy, like, I enjoy Kings of Ruin. I will happily dive into it. I'm just so behind on narrative games in general. Like, I have ISIS Vanguard that I actively know I enjoy more than I enjoy Kings of Ruin, and I'm still not diving into it, so, yeah. C. Jack DC. Voldemort did nothing wrong. You and I have to have a conversation. Biodelic. Alex, how would you rate Arune versus League of Dungeoneers solely from a pure fun point of view? I haven't played League of Dungeoneers, so I can't answer that. I would say Arune appeals to me more from a visual perspective. League of Dungeoneers feels like it's catering to like Hero Quest or old school dungeon crawlers, which isn't me as much. So Arune appeals to me more aesthetically and in style, but I haven't played League of Dungeoneers. Nidamir, as far as I know, I'm so behind. Nidamir, as far as I know, zombies in Star Wars appeared in Clone Wars Shore on Dathomir and in Star Wars Fallen Jedi. So again, these are good things to know. It makes it more likely. I'm still skeptical. Nidamir, Peter Pettigrew, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Professor Meg, Disney Princess Zombies would get me. That Disney Princess Zombies would be fun. Board Gamer, what do you think of new content creators coming to the board game space, making news and reviews like you? Is there room or is the scene overly saturated? Board Gamer, good question. Let me tell you a little story about my good friend Chris from Room and Board. Chris George from Room and Board. So, Chris George from Room and Board, a long time ago, left a comment in one of my videos that watching me and some other content creators had inspired him to make videos. Fast forward a year or two, and he has 10,000 subscribers making content because he decided to get into it. Specifically, what he thought is, for a long time, he wanted to make videos, and he thought the space wasn't going to be receptive or welcome to new creators because it was already oversaturated. And so he sat there and said, I'm not going to bother. Then he saw new content creators coming in. He saw myself coming in before you play. He saw people coming into the space and still being able to grow and cultivate an audience and build out, people who watch them. And he's like, I should do it. Why should I not? And he has 10,000 subscribers. Board Game Garden came in last year. She has 21,000 subscribers in the past year. And subscribers are not everything. Don't do it for subs, but they are a metric of success. They are a metric of whether you can build an audience. And so the answer is, I believe anyone at any point can continue to grow and build an audience. I do believe that the larger and more saturated the space gets, the harder it can be. I do not think it is an easy thing to do. I do think it is something that requires a lot of work, a lot of passion, and a lot of being able to work for little to no money because you love it enough to persevere past it. Something I saw Rodney Smith say once upon a time is he said he was very grateful that when he entered the space as a content creator, he just did it for fun and never even had the idea that it could be something he did as a career. It was never even an idea for him. It wasn't even something that people did at all. And so he entered it for fun, and then he did it for 10 years, and then one day he had a job. And that was something he never tried for. So there's never a sense of rush. There was never a sense of pressure. So is it possible to build a new audience? 100% yes. Is it easy? No. Will you possibly burn out? Very possibly. Is it enough to like board games? No. You have to be good at something else otherwise. And something else could vary. For instance, I am terrible at editing. I'm terrible at editing. But I can talk cohesively and coherently about board games for a very long time without pausing. That is a relevant skill. You have to figure out what you have as a relevant skill that makes you in some way worthwhile, but liking board games isn't enough on its own. Something has to be addition to that. You could be funny, you could be entertaining, you could be knowledgeable, you could be great at editing, production. There's so many things you could be good at, but it can't just be that you love board games. Machine Gun, there's so many people telling me about the zombies in Star Wars. I'm sorry. I'm wrong about Star Wars. I take it back. We shouldn't expect it. I'm not being sarcastic. I'm just wrong about the zombies. I'm still skeptical, but I'm so wrong. Don Boots, will there be a level up 2? Yes, there will be a level up 2. Let's do an announcement over here. So, unplanned announcement for level up 2. Level up is currently going to be, and I know it's a shift in time, we're still messing with some things, but level up currently is going to be February 2nd to February 4th. Please watch my weekend review. There'll be some more information. There will also be a dedicated video at some point, but February 2nd to February 4th, it'll be in New Jersey, so close to Connecticut where it was last time, but that's going to be level up this year. It's going to be at a different hotel. We picked somewhere that had, we moved locations because the place we were at last year, the cost per night was higher than I liked, and I want to be able to give people the lowest cost I can. We found somewhere that is closer to the airport and has a much lower cost and is a nicer premise. We hunted around for a bit to find a good place. It does mean that the location shifted, but that's where we're going to be for level up 2 is going to be February 2nd to February 4th, 2024. There'll hopefully be level up 3. I don't know the time frames. We're still in the process of locking this thing in. Sawyer, are you reviewing Unmatched Games? No, but now I want to. Brett Campbell, I'm saying the words wrong. Do stormtroopers move and act more intelligently than zombies anyway? Their aim is worse. Aaron Taylor, Professor Meg, that'd be great. I would definitely get that. Charles27, thoughts on Deadpool only having deluxe components for new Dice Throne Marvel X-Men? They said, as of right now, no cardboard components, super lame. I assume the price reflects that. I actually like the idea to a degree, but they're probably penalizing you with the price, which makes it a harder conversation to get into. Killer J9, I find your train of thought very interesting and entertaining. Your conversation videos are some of my favorite. I am so behind. I am sorry. I'm sorry. Ugh. I'm like realizing I just scrolled back to find where I am. Okay, I'm so behind. Okay. Thoughts on Deadpool only. No, I find your train of thought very interesting and entertaining. Your conversation videos are some of my favorite. Thank you, Killer J9. I appreciate it. I have another one coming up. I just did one on crowdfunding. I have another one coming up in a week or two about how a 3.5 is not a recommendation. A 3.5, for context, is my most common score that I give out on the channel. And sometimes people might think that's a recommendation. It's not. It's an acknowledgement that this game is good, but I recommend the great games. The good games are games you can mostly skip on unless you particularly want it for one reason or another. Anyways, where are we? Charles, do you ever review the Sea of Thieves board game? I know you plan to. No, not yet. I still only have one play under my belt, and I like to get more plays under my belt. I've been trying to get more plays, but there are so many things competing for time, interest, and attention, so soon. Machine Gun Devil Dog. I believe they're mindless if I'm thinking right. Robbie Senger. Professor Meg, could you use the brooms from Fantasia as the walkers? Oh, the brooms. Oh, that is such a clever idea. I like the idea. But, like, what do you have? Like, the shooting brooms, the fatty brooms, the fast brooms. I like the idea. I can't see it ever happening. Sawyer, I'm in Europe currently, and I found that this extremely gigantic board game shop, but every single game is in Spanish. I recommend not getting them if you don't speak Spanish. Sindeka, if you could reskin Zombicide and Massive Darkness with new IPs, what would they be? I would have Zombicide, Alien vs. Predators, and Massive Darkness Diablo. Haven't given it enough thought. I mean, Massive Darkness. So Massive Darkness could be fun as a BioShock game. Oh, I like this. I like this idea. I think Massive Darkness could work reskinned as BioShock. The asymmetric rolls, the player powers, I could see it happening. I think instead of so many asymmetric classes, you instead have one class, but the asymmetry potential, the developed asymmetry would get much, much higher. I could see it working for BioShock. So now I want Massive Darkness BioShock. Thanks for giving me something that I'm never going to get. I appreciate that. Tommy Two-Tone, I was just wondering if is Roleplay Adventures playthrough on Camp Co-op yet? I didn't watch it because I didn't get to see the beginning, and I remember you saying you were going to upload old videos. It should all be over on the Camp Co-op YouTube channel. There should be a playlist where they are all in there. So some of the videos are straight up on the channel, and other videos are only accessible via the playlist. Santiago84, best roll-and-write games. On the spot here, but Hadrian's Wall for sure. Ganshon Clever, that's pretty clever. Three Sisters or Fleet roll-and-write. You know, Welcome to the Moon. Those are some pretty good ones right there. Twilight Description I'm still very torn on. I like it very much, but with some critiques. Ryan T. Board Gamer Board. Good to see you. Ready for SitCon? I assume that's somebody else, not me. Samuel, how do you... I assume that because you said and tagged the person. Samuel, how do you think capitalism is shaping the hobby ecosystem? This is a larger conversation on capitalism in general. I think capitalism is a good thing. I do. I might lose subscribers today. I think capitalism is a good thing. I don't think it's a perfect system, and I think it's a system that has a lot of flaws. I think historically speaking, it is better than any other system that we've had. If you pick any point in time, any nation, any country, any whatever, capitalism is the longest lasting, most beneficial system that we have had. It is still flawed. Like, what's the Winston quote? Is the Winston? No, that's about democracy. So Winston Churchill has a quote that democracy is the worst form of government, except for all the others. That's what capitalism is. Capitalism is the worst economical system, except for all the others. It's just historically, no other system has lasted as long or as efficiently with as great a good for as many people as capitalism. Does that mean it's perfect? No. Does it mean it has flaws? Yes. Are people at the top going to benefit in ways that are almost unfair and problematic for people at the bottom? Yes. Is it still better overall for the greatest amount of good across and the greatest number of people? Historically, yes. Now, is it trending in a worse direction? I don't know. So how do I think capitalism is shaping the board hobby ecosystem? I think people are trying to make money. Most of them are making very little money. Some people are making a lot of money, but very, very few. And so I don't think greed is prevalent in the board game world. I think that people are trying to just survive in a hobby and passion that they love. And the board game ecosystem is probably more safe from capitalism than most other systems, because if you're trying to make money, you don't go into board games. I took a large pay cut to be here, and that's true of most people who are selling board games. They are taking pay cuts to try to do this. So that means for the people who are desperately in it for, like, greed is good, those people are not chasing down board games as a place to make their money. I hate my job. Pablo, I hate my job and only think about board games all day. What should I do? If you can afford to, try to find a job in the board game space. Recognize that it also might kill your passion for board games, depending on what you find and whether it's something that turns your board games into work or whether it's something that, like I ran the BoardGameCo site for, 10 years. It never once enhanced my enjoyment of this hobby. It was something I thought would, but it didn't. It was work within the board game space. It fortunately did not detract from my enjoyment, but it didn't enhance it either. YouTube, on the other hand, that enhanced it. John, hi Alex, Tamashi review when? A lot of unboxing, still no reviews around. Is there an embargo or something? No, it's just Tamashi has you have to play a bunch to be able to give it a comprehensive review. I've also already covered it on my channel, and usually I don't prioritize those as much. If I'm looking at, just to give you a random example, I currently have Borderlands, Arena of Badassery on the shelf over there. I'd rather play Tamashi any day of the week. But Tamashi, I've already given a review of first impressions of the prototype, so I'm going to prioritize the thing that I haven't covered at all, just for the sake of having comprehensive content. Will I dive into Tamashi at some point? Yes. Will I give it a full review when I do? Yes. Is that possibly going to be 2 years from now? I hope not, but it's certainly possible. Good morning. Brian T, good morning, Meg. It's starting to get cold here. I hope you've gotten your internet delivery refilled so you can bring back streaming. Jin Park, thoughts on video game-based board games. At what point is it not worth to play a board game version? Had this thought while looking at Elden Ring board game at $400. So I wouldn't look at the cost as a factor in video game board games. That's cost is a factor in all board games. So either it's worth it or not in all board games. I think in video games, versus the board games, it's more of a question of at what point are you just not getting the video game experience and you should just play the video game and play other board games. And that's going to be very situationally dependent. Like a big conversation around this was around Slay the Spire, because people were like, I could play this in 2 seconds on my computer, or I can set up, shuffle, and deal with all the maintenance of the board game. And that's an interesting conversation around what you get out of board games and is it useful to you or not. So, yeah, I think it's very case by case. I very much enjoyed Elden Ring. Oh, we're going to get spicy here. Okay? Tenaris Adventures is an excellent game. I've been playing through it on the channel. I think it's amazing. I have tons of content for it. I will never play with all the content. Never even come close to playing with all the content. Tenaris Adventures is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. I will probably get in over 100 hours of play of Tenaris Adventures, and then I will probably get rid of it. I find that games that I give 100 plus hours, for the most part, there are exceptions, at a certain point, even if I love you, like Gloomhaven was my number 3 game of all time, I got rid of it because I was like, great, I gave this game 200 hours and now I can move on. I think that's likely true with Elden Ring as well. Now, there are times where I've used all the content, which is the hard part, because sometimes I do want all the content. Cthulhu May Die, I've gone through all the content. Zombicide Black Plague, I've played with nearly everything. I happen to have never played with the dragon, so not that. I've played with the dragon, but like just with toys, not like a game with the dragon. So most of the time, I think that all-ins are not worth it, and you will never benefit from all the content, and don't go all in. There are times with certain types of games, usually plug and play, like Marvel United. I'm happy I have all Marvel United. I play with all. I plug and play left, right, and center. There's no threshold of me never being able to utilize it. So, yeah. Rockman Games. What are the big games you're looking forward to or watch out for at PAX Unplugged? I haven't even looked at PAX Unplugged yet. I have not looked. I'm so overwhelmed. I need to go on vacation. My job is vacation, just for the record. My job is a constant vacation, but it's also constant homework at the same time. Yeah, I haven't looked at PAX Unplugged at all. I need to go look at some geek lists. Jamie Ting. Hi, greetings from Spain. I'd like to know which is your favorite Risk game. Risk 2210, not even a question. Machine Gun Devil Dog. How many games have you played in which you must build the minis? Very, very, very few. Games Workshop makes me do it from time to time. I don't know. I feel I've done it before as well, but very few. I try to avoid that heavily. What is your favorite Warhammer tabletop game? None particularly. Like, I've played a few. None yell at me yet, although I'm interested in Warhammer Underworld. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I refuse to get rid of that copy over there until I play it, because I have a bunch of painted miniatures I traded for somebody for, so I refuse to get rid of it right now. Francois, what weight and complexity on BGG is your sweet spot for board games? Mine is a 3.4. I've never thought of that, but a 3.4 sounds right. When you start getting too high, I find that very often Splotter games and my gosh, Lacerda games fall victim to me, to where the game is too heavy that more often than not, it's not that I don't enjoy it or don't appreciate it, but more often than not, it feels like homework. And so I don't play those as much. Now, some Sparta games, I think most Sparta games are amazing. I find they don't hit the table as much. So I still have Food Chain Magnate. Most of the others I've slowly gotten rid of because they just don't hit the table. I would usually rather play something like a good Stefan Feld game or a good midweight game. Like I find games like Revive is amazing. Expeditions is amazing. Wayfarers of Tigris is amazing. There are some nice crunchy games that are not as heavy as some of these really heavy experiences. Like when I play Food Chain Magnate, I know I will be tired at the end of playing it. I'll be mentally tired. And so I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it. But I'll be mentally tired, and so I have fewer of those. What is your favorite module or setup for Vindication? So I haven't played with most of the modules. I did really enjoy the pet module the one time I played with it, so there's that. Stefan S., are you going to review Trolls and Princes from Game Brewer? If they send it to me, sure, but I don't think I'd otherwise purchase it. In general, by the way, for most games, I find that I will get sent a lot of games, so I'm very grateful and very fortunate to be in that position, and I will review anything I asked for sure. Most things I'm sent, whether I asked for it or not, I will review most things, but there are times I won't. If it's just really not my jam, I just won't. But I find that the games that I'm willing to hunt down and buy, if I didn't already back it, because usually the things that excite me more are backing, there are only a handful of games I'm willing to hunt down and buy every year, and Trolls and Princesses is not outside of crowdfunding, and Trolls and Princesses is not in that catalog right now. Like some of the games, like, I mean, I might have to hunt down Unmatched if they don't send me a copy, because it sounds interesting. I've been trying to get my hands on Thunder Road for a while now, because I keep hearing buzz about it, and I want to play that one. Evenfall is a game I had a chance to play, and if the publisher doesn't send me a copy, I'll happily buy it, because there are some games I want to cover enough. And usually I want to wait for things to settle. Usually. I want reviews to come out. If I'm going to spend money on a game, again, outside of crowdfunding, because crowdfunding I have a weak spot for, but even then, I've been better at crowdfunding, but I still back just like once a month instead of like 5 times a month. And so I usually try to wait for reviews as much as possible to substantiate that the game is amazing for me to go out and spend money on it, usually. So playing games at conventions will help. Like Evenfall, I played at WSBG and now I'm getting that game. One way or another, I'm getting my hands on Evenfall. Either they're sending me a copy or I'm buying it. I don't care. I want that game in my collection. Board Gamer, thanks for the answer, much appreciated. Board Professor Meg, preach. Morning Professor Meg, miss your face. Mr. Steven, what's your favorite skirmish game and why is it God tier? My favorite skirmish game is probably Rum and Bones. I love Rum and Bones. I think that was my favorite one currently. Rockman Games, making a job out of your passion hobby can lead to it being a job. Yes, indeed. Professor Meg, soon Sir Me, should be streams this week. We will see. Meg, are we streaming tonight? Are we doing My Island tonight? Let me know. Rockman Games will be a level up 2 if it's in New Jersey for sure. Rockman, oh yeah, I have to start doing the rounds. I need to start doing the rounds of this. I have too many things. I'm juggling too many things. So I mean, Woot, Aaron Taylor, dang, I want to work level up. That's a tax season. I won't be able to get away from the office during that part of the year. I'm sorry, Aaron. I apologize. Fred Gent, their aim is worse. Board Gamer, should I can't? How? I'm so far behind on chat today. You guys are killing it. I talk fast and I cannot keep up. So far behind. Okay, let's go back up a bit. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Board Gamer, should I cancel my remaining pledge for Darkest Dungeon and forsake Mythic forever? I also backed Hell. Do you think they're going to do more of the same with that? I cannot tell anyone what to do. I can tell you that I did a full video of this about 6 Siege, and I stand by that video, which is to say, anyone who gives Mythic another cent right now, at any point, is subjecting themselves to the possibility of continued increases in asks of what they'll have to pay. My understanding, from what I've seen, and I could be wrong on this, so I apologize if I am, is that Mythic has told people in Darkest Dungeon that people who paid for the Wave 1 would not have to pay again, and then they were asked to pay again. So the idea that Mythic is telling you one thing and then doing another, I don't think they're doing it out of malice, I think they're doing it out of necessity, but malice or necessity means that anyone, regardless of what you paid for anything from Mythic, anything you pay is a continued conversation about how much you'll have to pay to get your thing. I believe, in all cases, you'll get your thing. I believe that. I don't know how much you'll be asked to pay to get your thing. And so that's the complicated part. So I would say only pay for stuff from Mythic if you are comfortable paying through the nose to get it. You may not have to. You may only have to do a single payment. And that's always the question. The question I tell you to ask yourself is, let's take Hell for example. I'm just going to use Hell as a random example. Let's pretend that Hell comes to backers and says, it's $50 to get your thing. $50 additional shipping to get your thing. Obviously, it might be different based on pledge levels. I think actually Hell only had one pledge, right? I think. Let's say Hell says to you, it's $50 to get your thing. Now, you have to ask yourself, if it doesn't go the way I want, what will I regret more? Meaning, if I pay $50 and then they ask me to pay more money, will I regret that more than if I don't pay the $50 and others get their game having only paid $50 more? I can't believe I'm saying only paid $50 more, but you get my point. So, meaning in other words, look at both pathways in front of you. look at what happens if both pathways work the way you don't want them to work. And so again, the options here are not that you get the game or don't get the game. The options are you pay $50 and then you have to pay more, or you don't pay $50 and people who paid $50 get it without paying more. Those are the two things to look at. Which one of those scenarios would bother you more? And then choose a scenario that bothers you less from the scenarios that don't go the way expected, if that makes sense. Always play out the worst case scenario effectively and see which worst case scenario bothers you more. Does it suck? It absolutely sucks. For me, yeah, it sucks. Like, I've paid for some of these games. I've backed these games, and do I hope I'll get them? Yes. Do I hope that my influencer status means that Mythic is more likely to send me something that I just didn't pay the extra cost for? Absolutely, I do. I do hope that, because I want the games. So assuming I want the games. But am I not spending money on these things because I don't know where it'll go from there? Yeah, I'm backing away slowly. It sucks. I like the people at Mythic. I like them. I think this is mismanagement. I don't think it's malice, but mismanagement still has consequences. Tommy Two-Tone, what is your favorite game to play with the kids right now? Favorite, I don't know. A Zombie Teens we've been playing a lot of. Favorite might be Noobs in Space. Although it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating playing Noobs in Space with them, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Food, Wood, Stone, Gold. Why do you think consumers are obsessed with reskins, rehashed of board games, IPs done to death? Are you one of them? I don't think consumers are obsessed with them. Not at all. I think consumers want them despite themselves. Like, for me, I don't want Harry Potter United. I don't want that to exist, because I know if it exists, I will buy it. My kids like the Harry Potter universe. I like Marvel United as a system. I do not need more Marvel United. Like, I want it. I think it's a good game. I recommend it. I have 3 seasons of United right now. I don't need DC United. I don't need Harry Potter United. I don't need Star Wars United. Will I get those things? Probably. Are there other systems in which I won't? Absolutely. They have the whole, what's it called? The, Harry Potter Death Eaters Rising. That game has like 7 versions of it. I don't have a single one. Why? Because I don't like the game enough, so I don't care. When I do like something, and you put an IP I like on it, and especially when I take into account my kids getting enjoyment out of it, I don't want them. I reluctantly will get it despite my despite my knowledge of what the right decision is. I will reluctantly get it. Do I recommend it? No. I think that everyone in life is going to make irresponsible decisions, and you should work to mitigate or minimize how many irresponsible decisions you make. Every time you eat a cookie that you are trying not to eat because you are watching your weight, that is the wrong decision. Sometimes enjoy the cookie, other times don't. Life is about balance. It's not about always making the right choice. It's about allowing yourself to make the wrong choices, recognizing that they're the wrong choices, and then understanding when it's actually hurting you or not. I don't think everyone will always make the right choice. I just think you should recognize when it's the wrong choice. If I buy another United game ever, it is... So it's actually a little more complicated than that. Because I'm a content creator, there's an argument to be made that it's good for my channel to have content on these games, so it is a little bit more nuanced for me. But pretend you're not a content creator, I should not be getting more Marvel United of any kind, shape, or form. But I'm still going to. Rockman Games, no. Why do you think Rockman Games? Huge pay cut on board games, hands down. Yeah, I went from I think I've talked about this, so let's get into it. But I went from making 6 figures at my last job to basically going like half that to being YouTube. Like half that. Like, there's a reason I have the GameFound job. I need the GameFound job to balance out taking a huge pay cut to be on YouTube. This is a good time to plug my Patreon. I have a Patreon, in the link down below. I appreciate anyone who goes ahead and becomes a Patreon. I do. I appreciate it. It makes a difference. I cannot afford to be in the board game space full time without having other sources of revenue because I took a pay cut to be here. I work harder to be here. I was having a conversation yesterday. We had some random person at our house knocking into a random person who was someone doing a survey effectively, and they were asking what my job is, and they're like, okay, great, how many hours a week do you work? And I was like, 90? Like 90 hours a week? I think that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that lines up. And she's like, 90 hours? I'm like, well, it depends on how you count it. Like, I just spent 4 hours playing Unmatched Adventures. Like, I explained the whole board game. I was like, so I spent 4 hours playing a board game. That is my job. Like that. So I work 90 hours a week, but I do play board games and go to conventions and spend time with friends. So like, and I do it for less money because I love being here. Swingham, are you planning on picking Cthulhu Dark Providence up? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope Come On sends me a copy. It's actually interesting. So Come On has usually sent me retail releases as review copies. Crowdfunding campaigns, they don't send me as often. Very infrequently do they send me crowdfunding campaigns. Most Come On crowdfunding things you've seen on the channel, I've paid for those myself. Almost all of them. I want to say any unboxing you've seen me do of a Come On all-in Kickstarter, I've paid for myself. I want to say that. I'm pretty sure it's true. The only reason I'm pausing is I know that they sent me Cyberpunk. Well, will be sending me Cyberpunk 2077. That one they'll send me directly. They said that. but I think everything you've seen so far has been me paying for it. So, but the retail releases they've been better at. So I assume I'll get it, and I will happily want it. But I'm not as interested enough in the game that originated it, like the Emerald. What's it called again? Is it called the Emerald something? A Study in Emerald? Study in Emerald, that was called. I never really played that or wasn't on my list, so I'm interested in it, primarily because I like Travis Chance and he was part of designing it, so that's why. Chad Stilson, I really want base game only of one of the updated Castle of Burgundy. However, the all-in special edition is only unavailable. $179 is super expensive. Is Ravensburger missing a huge market? I didn't know that they're not selling the base game. They should sell the base game. That is a mistake in my opinion. Aaron Taylor, I'd see more of a Lion King zombicide with hyenas acting as the zombies. Oh my gosh, there's so much opportunity. Honestly, I'm less interested in the Disney. I think the brooms get me. I think the brooms are a fun little way to do it. Flip side, will you preview Wondrous Creatures? I doubt it. I have not been kind to Bad Comet's games in the past. Bad Comet has... I covered the first 2 games they had. I don't even remember what they're called at this point, but I don't remember what they're called. They had a Wild Serengeti, but the one before that was... I don't remember. But I've covered 2 of the games in the past, and I was not favorable to either one of those. I don't assume that they're sending me any other future games, even though their last game got very well reviews in general, and I think their previous games just weren't as good. I think their games were generally panned, but I was definitely part of the panning conversation. Panning is a harsh word. Wild Serengeti, I think I gave it a 3 out of 5. Maybe I may have gone lower, I'm not sure. And the one before that was like a 3.5 out of 5. Like, they're fine. They're fine games. They did not impress. Their newest one, Wondrous Creatures, looks cool, and their last one, whatever it's called, the Life of the Amazonia, whatever it was, that one looked cool too and got good ratings. So I would love to play them, but I'm not on the list right now. Jamie Ting, which is your favorite Zombies expansion? If you mean just like Zombies, like the Steve Jackson game, I've never played that. Carlos, what are your thoughts on the new Dice Throne Kickstarter? I have played missions, and I enjoy missions. Do I love missions? No. Is it possibly my favorite version of playing Dice Throne? Probably. I think so. I think missions might be my favorite way of playing Dice Throne right now. So we'll see. I like it. I don't think it's a game I'm raving about. I mean, Dice Throne in general is a 3.5 out of 5 to me. I like it. It's good. Honestly, the art and the production elevated to me to the point that it's still here, but otherwise it wouldn't be. But Dice Throne Missions is probably a 4 out of 5. I haven't given it a lot of thought, and please take into account that Dice Throne Missions, we did a gameplay, Meg and I did a gameplay of the new X-Men stuff, but we also did a paid gameplay, a sponsored gameplay of Dice Throne Missions that will be going up at some point, and that is... So keep in mind it was sponsored, but I think Dice Throne Missions is a 4 out of 5 for me. Again, it's not amazing, but it's definitely my favorite version of Dice Throne. Not definitely, it's probably my favorite version of Dice Throne so far. Angel Martinez, Ezra Nakami just launched. Are you more or less interested in now seeing the details of the game? I haven't seen the details of the game, so I'm equally interested. F-Rain, what are your thoughts on the companies behind Kickstarter such as Chai Tea for Two and Atlantis Rising? Oh, those are 2 different cups of tea. That was not pun intended. That was not pun intended. That was genuinely no pun intended. So, Chai Tea for Two. So first of all, the company behind Chai Tea for Two, can't remember the name of the company offhand. What is the name of the company? But either way, they have been horrifically bad at communication to the point that I don't think I would want to work with them at all. I don't like saying hardcore guarantees, but I would be reluctant to work with them in general. I just think that they've done such a huge disservice to the backers in terms of the way they've handled any form of communication. Do I think people are going to get the game? I still think they will. Like, they're still doing it. They're just kind of ignoring people who are upset. They're kind of being like, hey, you know what? People are upset, so screw it. We're not going to post updates. We're not going to communicate. We're not going to engage because anyways, people are upset. Now, I do think, from watching the original Chai Tea for Two, I do think that people got upset earlier than they should have without enough reason to do so. And so the tricky part that's impossible to say is, did it happen that people were upset, angry backers, and that pushed them to say, screw it, we're just not going to communicate? Or would they not have communicated anyway? I don't know. This is not me blaming the backers. This is me wondering. But I do wonder. I wonder about that timeline. But I do think, Brian T, Jenna for top 100. Brian, you forgot to send $5 to Cull Catan for Jenna, because I'm not texting Jenna unless I get a Cull for Catan. I will text Jenna for top 100 anyway, because I'm trying to get that happening. But anyways, so yeah, Chai Tea for Two did a... Also, thanks to the super chat. Chai Tea for Two is definitely not a fan of the company or the way they've communicated. I think they're nice people. I think they can't handle doing crowdfunding campaigns. Then Atlantis Rising is slightly different. Elf Creek Games, I think, had a few flops that really hurt them. And like really, really hurt them. I think they had Merchants of the Dark Road, which I think they were relying on being a flagship game for them. What got met reviews, not bad reviews, just like everyone was like, it's okay, it's okay. A lot of people were like, it's okay. Some people loved it, but a lot of people were like, it's okay. And I think that really hurt the projections for just like how the company would do. And then right after that, that's fine. Companies can survive a hit. Right after that, they had that Bejeweled style game. I don't remember what it's called. That one did like 40,000, which is a flop of a crowdfunding campaign for them. I think they had. Oh, we have the scroll down. We got the $5. Jenna Kulkatan. Okay, let's go ahead and do this here. Dun 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 dun. Let's message Jenna. Sounds like the water's back on. I'm hearing the water filtering into the house. The water issue from the beginning. Okay, let's go to our group chat over here. Jenna, just got $5 for you to Kulkatan. Period. At what point will you actually Kulkatan? Question mark. I need to edit for typos because that did not. Kul was call. Kulkatan. Okay, we got Kulkatan.
Text message.
Jenna may have just texted me saying she's in chat. I'm still gonna text him because I gotta. At this point, Devin's not in chat because he's a flake. Okay. Hi Jenna. Hi Jenna. Why? Where were you until now? Where were you until now, Jenna? Anyways, oh, you were there. You were there. I'm just behind. I would have gotten to your comment in 2 seconds. Oh, that's why. I'm understanding this now. I'm realizing the trend. People are not paying $5 for me to text you. People are seeing your name, and then they pay $5. I'll still text you, let's be honest. Anyways, what are your thoughts on the company? I need to put my phone on this way so I can actually see things when they pop up. Anyways, we're going to have Ezra and Hamid just launched. You more or less interested, seeing the details. In fact, I missed. No, sermon chat. That. No, we're all good. Anyways, we have, what is your favorite zombies? No. So Atlantis Rising, Elf Creek Games. I think that Elf Creek Games had 2 large missteps, and it's hard to communicate bad news. I think they're doing their best. I think they're trying. I think it sucks to be hated on the internet. Not I think. I know it sucks to be hated on the internet. It sucks. It is not good for your mental health in any way, shape, or form to have people jumping down your throat and attacking you for their perception of how scummy and horrible a human being you are when you're just trying, and yes, you screwed up. So it's not an excuse. I'm not excusing them, but I think Elf Creek generally had decent communication, not good communication, but they communicated. They did communicate in some way, shape, or form, and then as things got worse, it became harder to do regular updates. I'm not excusing them, but I do think I think Elf Creek Games should communicate more. I am more understanding of their situation. Chai Tea for 2, I am, again, same reality. If people are upset at you, I understand just wanting to retreat, but I think that the level of differential of how hard one tried versus the other, I do view them differently. Joshua Burke, have you lost hope yet for Blacklist Games? Does Blacklist Games even exist anymore? Like, I mean, is there anything to not lose hope on? Am I missing something? I thought they sold off all their assets. Sam S., when are you going to adjust what is honestly the big elephant in the room? What happened between you and Quackalope? A lot of us subscribe to both channels because we like your relationship. Sam S., I've addressed this multiple times. I guess there's a few ways to answer this. If you're looking for every intimate personal detail between my relationship with myself and someone else and how things didn't work out, frankly, that's none of your business. Meaning, I respect wanting to know every little detail. I do, but it's not like my dirty laundry to share. What I have said before, and what I will continue to say, is, meaning, and this is all true. It's just not going into every detail because it's just not someone else's business. But Jesse is somebody that I liked very much. I saw eye to eye with him on different things because of we had aspects of our personality that were very much the same, and that allowed us to bond very quickly. There are also aspects of our personality that are different, and also just the way we treat the content creation space and the way we approach it. We have different ways we approach the space. I'm not here to say better or worse. I'm here to say different. Going back to even my setup at Shut Up and Sit Down. Shut Up and Sit Down approaches it from it's the sake of entertaining. Their videos are meant to be entertaining, engaging, and hook you. That's not the way I do it, and therefore I don't think I'd mesh well with their content. It's not a criticism of them. It just means that it is aspects that don't mesh. So Jesse and I had aspects of our personalities that meshed very well and allowed us to do a lot of things together. Over time, some of the gaps in which we were not as much on the same page showed their ugly head, so to speak. And over time, the relationship did get worse and worse. This just got worse and worse. It wasn't like an immediate collapse. If you paid enough attention, you can kind of see this over time, the way we were doing a ton of things together, and then a little bit less, and then a little less, and a little bit less, and then eventually just stopped altogether. And we stopped, a big thing I do like to say is we did stop. Our relationship ended months before the drama, meaning I didn't abandon a friend because he was going through drama. Our relationship dissolved before the drama happened. So it's no big, dirty, dark secret. There isn't. There's not any one singular incident that is whatever. We had fracture after fracture after fracture in our personal and working relationship that led to us having a slow decline. I wish him all the best. I wish him a ton of success. I don't have any, he was someone that was a close friend that I loved doing videos with, and then that shifted over time. It's just a slow decline. It is what it is. But again, I've said this stuff before. I just don't necessarily go as into it. Obviously, with everything going on, I know he's doing a whole series of videos. I'm aware of all this stuff. and I'm not going to comment or engage on those things. It is what it is. Where are we? Board Game Garden. Wow, early stream. Also is so behind in chat. I know, Jenna. I know. Fernando Monera. Hi. Jam18. Which is your favorite Catan expansion? Strap me. Jenna. Strap me. Do you think certain content creators get many subscribers based on their social circle and physical appearance and not necessarily the value of their content? Whoa. Whoa, this is a rabbit hole. Food. I keep saying food because of wood after it. Food, wood, stone, gold. Do you think certain content creators get many subscribers based on their social circle and physical appearances and not necessarily the value of the content? What I hope you're not asking, but I think you are, is if you're pretty, do you get subscribers? Like, is that what you're saying? So I guess I'll still engage. I don't shy away from things. Lord knows I should, but I don't shy away from things. I think that there are so many things that contribute to how well you do in the content creator space. I think one of them I talked about earlier. You should have something you're good at. The way you're good at could be how you communicate, how entertaining you are, how funny you are, how good your editing skills are. There should be a hook that is present. I think looks and physical appearance 1,000,000% play a factor in how well someone will do. This is an unfortunate truth. Someone on the internet, man or woman, someone on the internet who is not, like, great to look at, it's going to hurt them. I think that's so mean. I think 99% of people on the planet are totally fine to look at. But I think levels of attraction in both men and women are a thing and are present. I don't think levels of attraction are nearly enough on its own. I don't think any attractive person of all, meaning physical appearance, I don't think anyone who has physical appearance on their own makes it as a content creator. I think it is a good thing that is helpful when you are also talented in many different ways. As far as social circle, I think social circles do play a part. If you are friends with a bunch of other content creators and they're all doing content and they loop you into the circle, that will boost and elevate how well you grow and how quickly you grow because it's the social circle you play into. So it makes sense. I think all these things make sense. I think it is, in my opinion, and my opinion can be problematic, I can't guarantee it's not, but in my opinion, it is not a problem to say that looks might be a factor in how well someone does, versus it is hugely insulting to say that looks are the reason you're successful. I think that diminishes someone to a large scale, and I just don't see any evidence of it. I'm not going to get into a list of the attractive content creators out there, but I will say that, in my opinion, the attractive content creators out there are all insanely talented as well. I would have a hard time pointing to a single attractive content creator and saying that they weren't incredibly talented at what they do. So, is it a factor? Sure. Are they incredibly talented and it's kind of insulting to reduce them to their appearance? Yeah, both things can be true. Don Boots, Ravenna Game Store has Thunder Road copies on MSRP. Yeah. I need to play it first. I actually have someone, a person who's local to me, who I've run into at several conventions, who I need to play his first. Crazy Dave, hello from Australia. Have you received your Marvel Zombies? No, the US has not gotten shipping yet to the best of my knowledge. I don't know anyone in the US who has gotten. I could be wrong. Harvest K, Alex has addressed him a crackle a few times in the past already. No need to keep pressing on it. I mean, I'll engage with the question. I think there's a difference. I think Sam, no offense to you. I like you. Seem like a good guy. Yeah, pretty sure I've seen your name before here. I think, Sam, your question was a drop insulting only because you approached it almost from the stance that you have a right to someone else's knowledge about their personal relationship. Meaning, I never have a problem with someone asking me anything. But I think there is a difference perceptually in kind of insisting that there's a right to it, if that makes sense. And that's not meant to be harsh critique. I'm sorry for calling it out. It's a small, nuanced way that your question felt a bit more forced, and that's the only difference there. Machine Gun, how many games have you crowdfunded that lost interest in when they finally arrived? Oh, a bunch. It's a problem. I did a video once, which I lost. I need to refilm it. I lost it. I lost maybe I don't know, 7 months ago, something like that. I lost 7 or 10 videos, something like that I just lost, and I refilmed most of them. I haven't refilmed this one yet so far, and then there's one that has some editing glitches that I have to figure out what I want to do with, whatever. But one video I did is, there's a video essay, whatever you want to call it, that I did called, by the way, we're at 11:10. I'm just having too much fun today. You guys are killing it on the questions, so I'm going to keep going, but I am going to do a hard cutoff at 11:30, maybe. There's a video called I Just Don't Learn that I need to refilm, but the basic premise of it was I'm overly optimistic when it comes to board games. I'll play a game that's a 3.5, but I'm like, but I want to keep it, and so I'll keep it. And then 8 months later, I haven't touched it, and I'll get rid of it. That's me not learning. It's me not being honest enough with myself, but I'm keeping it because I genuinely want it. But I'm not being honest with myself with my time. Same thing with crowdfunding. A good tip that I highly recommend, I'll throw it in my next video about 5 things to do with crowdfunding, is back it at $1. And then if you want to upgrade in the Pledge Manager, do so. But I find that the excitement I have doing a campaign is here. The excitement I have after the campaign is here. It's not gone, but it's a level lower. And that level lower can save you hundreds of dollars. And then when it shows up down the road, it depends on the game and the question. There are many games that show up 2 years later, and I'm like, I'm so glad it's here. And then there are games that show up later, and I'm like, I don't know if I care anymore. And I feel so bad about those, especially because most of those are games I told you I backed. And then I'm like, I feel so guilty. And it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. It happens when a game that I backed, I'm like, I'm not going to play this. And it's not that it's not a good game. It's always that it's like there's still interest in some way, but the level of interest relative to other things goes down. So it happens, and that sucks, and that's unfortunate. Jonathan, matey, seeing you having Eclipse Second Dawn of the Galaxy in the background, you never shared your opinion. I haven't played it. I played the original Eclipse, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. And so that has made me less excited for Eclipse Second Dawn of the Galaxy, but I still want to play it. Eric Meyer, do you have a favorite Tiny Epic game? Yes, Tiny Epic Vikings. Jonathan, have you heard about the upcoming expansions? To what? Eclipse? No, I haven't. Fernando, Root made me a furry. Should I sue? You can try. I don't think you'll get very far. Nidamir, 3 years in the hobby, I found that hard games are more to challenge a player than becoming pure entertainment. I mean, that's an interesting observation, just less interesting for me. Brett Spill Companiet, will you join our board game con in Christiania, Norway? Yes, brilliant. If you're paying the airfare, we can have a conversation. I don't think I can fly to Norway otherwise, but I would love to fly to Norway. Nidamir, also I recently stumbled against your Underwater Cities vs. Terraforming Mars. That is an old school video. My original Play This Not That series, which is still not dead, it's just not as present as I'd like it to be. I love doing the Play This Not That series. It's not as frequent. I really need to make it more frequent. Dana Phillips, do you like Sagrada? Have you played any expansions? Which one do you recommend? I recommend Sagrada Artisans. It's my favorite version of Sagrada to play. Lurinite, greetings to all of you. What is the BGG based on to give a ranking to a game? That is a longer conversation. I did a full video covering, if you search on YouTube, BoardGameCo, Board Game Geek Rankings, or BGG Rankings, you'll see a full video on it. The short version, without getting too much into it, is it's a combination between how highly ranked a game is and how popular a game is. Meaning, if a game has 10 people who rated it a 10, it's a 10 out of 10. But BGG says, we don't care about your existence, nobody cares about your existence, so it goes very far down the rankings. Not nobody, 10 people did. But, so it's a combination of how many people rated it and how high the average ratings are. That's the short version. Board Gamer, that was a good answer about Darkest Dungeon, however. No, I'm now having to work out what annoys me the least. And that is the problem. That is the problem. I have a friend, I'm not going to say who, but I have a friend who backed Six Siege and paid the extra ransom cost for that reason. He sat there and he said, what would I be more annoyed at? Losing another like $100 or not paying it and having others get the game that I want so badly? And so he paid it. And he'll have to make that same decision again if they ask for more money, which is the part that sucks. Patrick O'Neill, have you played? I'm so behind in chat. 10:52? It's like I'm 20 minutes behind on chat. Dear, you guys are killing it. Have you played Voidfall? If so, thoughts. I have not played Voidfall. Food, wood, stone, gold. Didn't Mythic ask for more money on more than one occasion? People who keep paying them are foolish. Yes. So the distinction is, in some cases, they made it clear there'll be a second ask for future waves. In one specific case, I believe, they told a group of people they would not be asked for more money, and they still asked them for more money. That's the tricky part. Professor Meg, reminder, no live stream next week if you want to stay longer to catch up with chat today. Oh, Meg, you're right. There is no live stream next week. I'll be in England. Will there be a live stream? No, I'm going to be busy. Boarding and Gardening. Good morning, Brian. I would love Harry Potter Night or Marvel Death May Die. My shelf won't. That's exactly how I feel. Corey Christensen. The mixing of hobby and career is fascinating, and I think a struggle for many. I'm glad you love it. Oh, I do. Aaron Taylor. Is Blood still something you're excited about? Yeah, I am still excited about Bloodstone. And, maybe I shouldn't be. It is light enough that it's the kind of game that it might go the way of Super Fantasy Brawl. Super Fantasy Brawl is a game, nothing to do with Mythic again, this is just a Super Fantasy Brawl conversation. I loved Super Fantasy Brawl for a long time. I had it for 2 years. I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, not loved. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was never a 5 out of 5 for me, but it's a game I really enjoyed. And over time, I found that I enjoyed it less. The minis are amazing. The game is very good, but it didn't hold my attention for more than 2 years. So I had it for 2 years, and I moved on. I could see Bloodstone being in the same category. It has a similar feel to Super Fantasy Brawl. But I did like Bloodstone. So I'm still excited for it, with the caveat that I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is a lifetime forever game. It's a game I might have for 2 years and move on from. Or I might have it for longer. A-Rod. Hello, A-Rod. And then we have Brian's two $5 donations for Jenna Kulkatan. Brian, I have nothing to ask or contribute, but I felt weird just sitting here watching without saying something. So I said something. Brian, I appreciate you saying something. The Boarding Garden. Boarding Garden had to do it. Are you excited for Dune Imperium Uprising? Yes. I don't know. I mean, I am. I've heard good things about it from people who've played it. But, do I play Dune Imperium enough to go out? I'm trying to be more financially viable. Again, I have a channel, so, I can justify it with, hey, it'll be views for, a Dune Imperium review. I should go buy it. Yeah, because of that. I'm going to go buy it now. Whatever. The channel thing is the thing pushing me over the edge, because it is good, relevant content to have coverage of one of the most popular games of all time and a game that I enjoy. I just don't know if it changes things enough to be like, is it worth the $60 to, again, I have to make decisions. I have to make decisions about finances here, so it is a conversation, but I'll go ahead and get it. Food, Wood, Stone, Gold. Have you backed any games for Lewis Magnet Studios? Are you concerned with their insane backlog of games? I have backed games for them. What have I backed for them? I'm sorry, I'm pausing to think. What's the game? Oh my gosh, they have a game that I'm really excited about. Oh, DEI. DEI, that's what it is. DEI. Yeah, DEI is amazing. Sorry, DEI is the one I'm excited about. I forgot that that's them. They have a backlog of games. It's true. Many companies with backlog of games are doing just fine. Mythic has certainly put the scare into any company that has a backlog of games, and that's reasonable. It sucks. The Great Dane, Jenna, like, I'm right here. I heard it. Preston Meg, she's going to call Catan and use all the money to buy a new Catan. Borgen Garden, I'm here. You're just behind. 3D, I'm so behind. 3D Catan, Meg. Okay, 3D Catan. Not sure what's happening. Oh, you're buying 3D Catan. That's right. Okay, I guess the new conversation is get Jenna enough money to buy 3D Catan. Jenna, how much money away from you are? Jenna, how far away from 3D Catan are you? Let's make that the fundraising goal. Borgen Garden, have you ever done a Catan tourney? That's to Borgen Garden. Alex is still in the past with all of us in the future. I am not Corey. Maybe I should. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. I'm pulling up the chat on my phone. That's my volume's on. I'm pulling up the chat on my phone so I can go over here to you, to live streams. Where's my live stream? Where's my live stream? Home. Why can I not find my live stream on my own channel? Here we go. Here we go. I'm trying to like look. This way I can have two chats and do both at the same time. I'm not. I'm gonna just like I'm gonna be distracted. I tried. I was already distracted. I have not, Corey. Maybe I should. Hello. Is there any logic in the choice of games that are on your background? Yes, I did a full video of the shelf of games behind me. The short version is these are usually big box Kickstarters that have the same games behind them so they don't get lost. Behind Zombicide Undead or Alive is more Zombicide Undead or Alive. So they're usually games that take up a full calyx with all the expansions so that I don't lose games by not seeing them. Horde of the Board. Horde of the Board? I know Lord of the Board. I don't know Horde of the Board. Hi Alex, I found your channel, but I don't know how to make better quality or make it grow. I have a channel, but I don't know how to make better quality or make it grow. Any tips on how to do better? This is a whole conversation. This is a whole conversation. I've done a few videos in the past of how to grow a channel, and they are not guarantees. The short conversation is that, the short version, this is why I'm so behind, because I keep doing deep dives into questions. I understand now. I'm older now. The first thing to know is that there's a video from a channel, can't remember who it's, Veritasium, called Is Success Luck or Hard Work? And I love that video. It's one of my favorite videos. Because the conclusion of the video, I completely agree with, is it's both. You have to do the hard work. And then you also have to be lucky. Meaning, I frequently say and believe that I have been incredibly lucky and fortunate in the growth that my channel has received. I also think I worked like a dog to get here. I think both things can be true. But the distinction between the two is that you can put in all the work, you can do all the right things, you can do every single thing right, you can have a sparkling personality and great editing skills and do a video every single day, and you still might not land, might not hit the landing. And that sucks. So I can give you things to do, but it's not a guarantee of success, unfortunately. Past that, as far as things to do, the biggest thing in my opinion is to, first of all, be consistent. So consistent does not mean daily videos, it means consistent videos. If you do a video here and then a video there and you don't do videos for 3 weeks, it's not consistent. The YouTube algorithm likes consistency, the YouTube algorithm likes good thumbnails. Your viewers like good content. So your content needs to have some reason for people to watch. If you are just approaching from the stance of, hey, I'm going to do board game reviews, the practical reality is there are so many channels out there, it will be hard for you to hit the landing unless you're doing something different. Maxim, $9.99, good morning, my friend. Maxim, is this to me or is this to Jenna's 3D Catan thingy? But anyways, thank you also, by the way. Also, you and I are overdue for a video. We're overdue for some multiple videos. We need to play Brazil, by the way. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. So, consistency. Yeah, if you just do something that everyone else is doing, I don't think you'll be able to hit the landing quite as effectively or as quickly because there's not enough reason. It might take them over time. Maybe you grow an audience. Maybe people love your reviews. It might take time. I think most people who have been successful have found a shtick that has been somewhat different than things other people are doing. Foster the Meeple has incredibly entertaining banter between the two of them that I don't think any other channel hits the landing quite as well on. You know, Jenna, who's in the chat over here, her videos are so easygoing and peaceful and make you feel like you're just like having fun and hanging out with a friend in a way that I don't think other channels do as much or as well. I think Thinker Themer had a very similar approach, but their content I think was a little less consistent, and also they're also successful. So I think that in general, people who have done well in the past few years have had something that they're able to do different to be able to in some way pull people in. The hard part is answering what that different is. So yeah. Horde of the Board. Hi, everybody. Mark Dale. He did a video on his board game organization. That's true. You guys are awesome. Alex is pretty and has subscribers. Coincidence? Oh, shucks, Don. I appreciate you. Food, Woodstone Gold. Yes, Corey Christensen. I subscribe to Alex purely because of I love catching up with the chat. I subscribe to Alex solely because of physical appearances. That glorious beard, y'all. The glorious beard is here. Board Game Garden, you guys are all amazing. I'm gonna blush, guys. So me, Corey Christensen, strong agree. I watch his videos on mute. Who needs to I love you guys. You're so nice. You make me feel oh. You guys are sweet. His background is attractive, and then there's the beard. I subscribe to Alex because of his beard. I love the content. Look after yourself and keep it supporting you here. You guys are fun. Brownbeard, when is the GameFound app coming out? It's not coming out currently right now. I'm not saying never, but it's not right now. Part of the problem is the numbers don't support it. People ask for it, but the numbers don't support that it's as utilized as people think it is. And also, GameFound is constantly putting out updates. Every 2 weeks, GameFound is putting out new updates, new tweaks, new adjustments, and having an app would require simultaneous development that would slow down how fast and how quickly we're growing the main ecosystem where most people spend their time. So I know people want it, but ultimately we focus on mobile friendly, and I'm not saying it'll never happen, but right now the speed of progression on GameFound is too fast for that to be worthwhile. Hoard the board, he has a Darren Taylor, Professor Meg, it makes me laugh that he still hasn't gotten to your reminder by the time he set a hard limit. That's true. Mark Ramos, I just got into Board Game Space and saw many board games for sale on Amazon. You think you'll do a video on your favorite board game sale on Amazon or something like that? That's a good idea for a video. The only problem is that it's always inconsistent, and my videos it would have to be a time-sensitive video. It is a good idea. Efrain, what's your opinion on Risk Legacy? I have not played Risk Legacy. I don't even know if I care to. I don't think I've heard enough good things that suggest that it's good enough. I think it's a better version of Risk, but I'd rather play other games, I think. Board Gamer, update on my Darkest Dungeon journey. Their PayPal system is broken, so I can't pay. That sucks. Sean Marks, are board games getting more complicated due to crowdfunding? I don't think board games are getting more complicated due to crowdfunding. I think board games are getting more complicated due to board games. Meaning, effectively, let's just use the most basic example. If you can make a good board game out of 4 decisions, it's all being very vague here, but if you can make a good board game experience out of 4 decisions, that's effectively, and let's say the binary decisions. So effectively it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 4, 8, 16. That's 16 ways the game can play out. Meaning there's not that much complexity to it, and therefore there's only 16 ways you can make a good board game that have 4 decisions of how you made them. In other words, simple games are harder to make because they've usually been already made. If for the most part, the games that are elegant and simple and accessible, games like Splendor, games like Century Spice Road, games like El Grande, there's so many simple, elegant games out there that have been already done. For you to make a game that is good requires either finding a new form of simplicity that for some reason some people haven't hit upon, or alternatively, the more you add layers of the ways decisions can be made in the creation process, the more complicated the game could be. And it could be good, but you kind of have to expand how far the decision phase goes on. There's only so many ways you can put things on 2 pages of rules while not being something that's been done already successfully. Hopefully that made sense. I don't think I explained that the best, but I have talked about that in the past. Mark Ramos, but then the sales will disappear as soon as the video has time to go up. Yes, you see, Hoard the Board? You got it. You're beautiful. Carlos, what's your opinions on why Jenna is better at vlogging? Carlos, Jenna is better at vlogging for a few reasons. One is she is calm and peaceful and just has to do vlog stuff and not worry about being on camera because that's her approach. And 2 is because she's better at vlogging. That's why. Mice Antics, sorry, just got in. Are you excited for Deceased? I answered that earlier, but short version is ish, but not super excited. I'm excited for Marvel Zombies to show up, and I'm excited for Deceased, but further out. Professor Meg, quickly. Oh my gosh, what's it called? You guys are sweet. You guys are sweet. I just scrolled down for a second. You guys are. Oh, where is the thingy? What's your opinion of Legacy? Excited. BoardGameCo Garden. Carlos, yes. Tim Carter, I'd love a Marvel version of Death May Die. Minions troops would take the place of cultists. Yep, I'm down for it. I think I like the Eldritch theme on Death May Die. Tim Carter, supervillains would take the place of monsters. Crazy Dave, have you heard of your gaming group stop playing game you love? Have you ever had your gaming group stop playing game you love before you're ready to stop? Have you ever kept playing a game purely to keep your friends engaged in the group? Love your channel. Thank you, first of all. Generally, I've been fortunate that most of the time when our group doesn't want to continue something we started, it has been somewhat consistent. A particular time, Meg, that was not necessarily true is Roleplay Adventures I was kind of getting done with towards the end of it, and Meg was not. And so I kind of wanted to aggressively pursue the ending, and Meg was like, let's explore every interaction. I did not love that, but that's the price of streaming sometimes. Two Wickens Games. We saw your video about games you still have to review, so we probably don't need to rush to send you Villages of the Oakdale, but we'll do it after our Kickstarter campaign ends. Thank you. If it helps, by the way, the backlog, more often than not, the backlog is things that I wasn't as excited and they kind of enter the backlog. But I do like I get reviews all the time that I cover the day they come in. Well, not the day, I have to play them first, but within a week if they come in, I'll cover a lot of games. But some also get delayed. But yeah, I would love Villages of the Oakdale. We talked about that. Yeah. Board Game Garden, just make content, have fun, work hard, and hope for the best. Sadly, that's the truth. That is exactly the truth. Hope for the best, have fun along the way. Machine Gun Double Dog, you were the first channel I came across a couple years ago when I started really getting into the hobby. Love your channel, keep up the super great work. I appreciate it so much. By the way, I speed talk on these because I only even have a chance of keeping up. Jed, have you ever finished the Other Fields campaign? No, I got rid of it after, I played it maybe 11, 12 sessions. I don't remember exactly, but I played it enough. I enjoyed it. Board Game Garden, he's blushing. I'm sorry, I can't be complimented on chat by so many people without blushing. I'm sorry, Jen, I'm a human being. I've never seen Alex change colors like that. He went full red. It was... Aaron Taylor, this feels like the time Devin would start spamming the chat, encouraging the rest of the chat to keep Alex so he can't get off. He isn't here, so fill in for him. Have you played Unmatched Adventures? I just got my copy. I want to play Unmatched Adventures, I haven't. Go West, I mean, deserves a fish. You guys are so sweet. Chris Smith, I'm new to the channel, just found it about go after you mentioned it on Bad at Board Games. I just want to say I really enjoy your content. Thank you, I appreciate that. And I have to go watch that. Was that a podcast or a video? I need to go watch. Press him quick, everyone say how much this channel means to him. Great video idea, best video by Alphabet. Corey, it definitely... I don't know if I've ever blushed on the channel. Oh. Yeah. Aaron Taylor, is Elder Scrolls different enough to have both in a collection? Different enough than Too Many Bones, I assume you mean? If so, I think so if you're willing to spend the money, but if you're cash conservative, I would recommend one or the other, and I'd ask you a few questions to determine which one. But they're both amazing experiences. I think I prefer Too Many Bones, but I think Elder Scrolls is likely my instinctive first recommendation because it's a drop more accessible. Aaron, Brian T. Jenna, do you play Federation with Alex yet? No, Jenna Fridays are on hold. They'll happen eventually, but when Jenna Fridays happen, we'll play Federation. Go West, Alex, the reason I'm in this space, he was the first channel I watched on the regular. Thanks, West, I appreciate you. Manuel, not offering the possibility to buy the core base game nor any of the previous expansions in order to not cannibalize the sales from my excellent retail and localization partners. I assume we're talking about Castle of Burgundy. Are we talking about Manuel, are we talking about Castle of Burgundy? That's not... Oh, cannibalize sales from my excellent retail and localization partners. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So keep in mind, I'm not giving a opinion from the industry side of things. I'm just giving an opinion as, I don't know, this is, Awakened Realms is not GameFound. I'm not involved in any decisions there. But it makes sense that they may have sold the base game to many partners, and so they're not selling that because it's a regular thing where distributors or publishers will not sell things at all or at the same price as the distributors and partners they've sold things to, so as to not have a two-sided relationship where they're like, hey, let's have a mutually beneficial relationship, also screw you, I'm going to undercut you. That is a regular concept, so it makes sense. Board Game Garden, I've been vlogging for almost 9 years now. I've had more practice. They're better, Jenna. Also, I'd say, yeah, I think it's important to not try to beat other people. I think it's important to recognize your strengths. I don't think vlogs are my strength for a variety of reasons I get into. I still do them because I enjoy them, and honestly, I like the memories myself. I like being able to go back to my own vlogs from 3 years ago and be like, that was a fun trip. That's part of the reason I do them. They're not my best performing content, and they're not the content I'm best at. I think I'm adequate at them. I don't think I'm bad at them, but I think that there are different things and different better. Suddenly, Alex is an amazing human being, and I feel incredibly grateful to be able to call him friend. Suddenly, you are a amazing person. Jonathan, outside the current offerings, what type of game would you like CTG to make? A Bioshock game. Always a Bioshock game. That's always my answer. Jacob Justice, what's your favorite deck builder? And are heavyweight games like On Mars worth the time to learn and teach? Not to me, they're not. And that's part of the problem, by the way. For me to learn a game, I am also mentally calculating that I have to teach it to multiple people because I have rotating members of my game group. So it's always there are games I've gotten rid of. What's the game I got rid of recently? Bitoku. Bitoku's a great game. I liked it. I played it. I enjoyed it. I was not willing to continue to teach it, and so I moved on from it. Games that I have in my collection, I have to be willing to teach it. If I'm not willing to teach it, why bother owning it? And so there is a factor in things. And so for me, Lacerda games are often not in that category for me, but I need to play more of them as well, because, one might be the same way Food Chain Magnet is my Splotter game of choice, I may have a Lacerda game of choice. The beer, the talent, the integrity, and what more can you ask for? Better vlogging skills. Successful Geek, appreciate your videos, Alex. Aaron Taylor, Alex has been the only one channel I've regularly watched for years. This channel has helped me ignite my passion for this hobby. Love the channel. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Chicken Pizza, current board game obsession. Ooh, current board game obsession. Wayfarers of South Tigris, maybe? I mean, there's been a bunch of good games this year. Wayfarers of South Tigris, Expeditions, Evenfall, DEI. Those are probably the ones right now. Revive's great. Chicken Pizza. Press and beg. My favorite part is that Alex is always willing to answer anything and be open and honest. I think sets him apart, but also inspires me to be more open online and in real life. Yeah, I worry the day that genuinely, this is not even me being sarcastic. I do not shy away from questions. I'm willing to say that I won't answer a question. I'm willing to say that. I'm willing to have that conversation, but I don't shy away in general. And I recognize that one day I might make enough of a misstep in my judgment of whether my opinion is something that, I don't know, I might make a misstep one day. And I recognize that it might have consequences. Ultimately to me, to dodge questions would be too much of a breach of how I want to be or who I want to be, that I'm willing to take that risk to be genuine to how I want to be on the internet and to people. My favorite compliment, I told you earlier in the stream, and I've said this all the time, but my most insulting thing I get told on the internet is you don't even like board games. And my favorite compliment I get on the internet is I met him in real life and he's just like he is on the channel. That is my favorite compliment. Yeah, so it's a risk. It's a genuine risk, but yeah, we'll keep doing it. Let's see. Bad at Board Games is a YouTube channel. So I know the YouTube channel. I just want to know if they have a podcast. I'm not sure if they have a podcast as well. Mice and Attic. I have to say, your gameplay videos helped me so much for overnight shifts. It's helped me to get through so many nights. I'm glad I have. Thank you. Jamie Wells, Twilight Imperium 4 or Eclipse Second Edition? I've played neither. So, Twilight Imperium... No, Eclipse Second Edition. I'll say Eclipse because at least I've played the original Eclipse and I like that. I can't imagine. I will play Twilight Imperium. It's going to happen. I don't know if I can sit down for an 8-hour game on a regular basis. Successful. Alex is a gem of a human, insightful and willing to correct when new info is presented. Humble and a great friend. Thank you, Successful. You are a prince. You are, really. Machine Gun Devil Dog. Professor Mag, totally agree. Aaron Taylor. Meant to say Too Many Bones versus Elder Scrolls. Already have too many bones. Trying to figure out. I would say if you have the money and can justify it, I think it is worth owning both. If you are trying to be conservative, I don't think it's worth owning both. Borgen Garden. Alex is a wonderful human, but honestly, I'm here for the beer. Just look at that thing. You guys are... Brett. Alex. I can't do this. I can't keep reading. I can't keep reading this. I'm sorry. Captain Ribbit, I'm sorry. Moving on. Did you catch the Spiritfire trailer? Not only did I catch the Spiritfire trailer, I caught the Spiritfire trailer in time to insert it into the ONEB vlog. The ONEB vlog goes up this Friday. Feel free to check that out. But yeah, it's in the ONEB vlog. That's where I caught it. What's your favorite game to teach or favorite moment in teaching games? That's a great question. Never thought about it. What's my favorite game to teach? I think my favorite rulebook is Galaxy Trucker. That's a kind of different question. Galaxy Trucker has this moment, and it's a moment that I've incorporated. So I'm going to do this, okay? So it's a moment that I've incorporated when I teach Galaxy Trucker. I don't currently have Galaxy Trucker. Oh, someone's here? I guess so. But anyways, Galaxy Trucker has a moment in the rulebook where they're telling you the things you want for your shield. And so they say things like, oh, by the way, these are connectors. You want as many of those as possible in your ship. And they're like, hey, these are guns. They're very good. You want as many as possible in your ship. These are like engines. They're very good. You want as many things as these as possible in your ship. And it keeps doing that. And then it says, hey, these are batteries. They're very good. I bet you think that you want as many as possible in your ship, but really you only want two. Because if you face them in these two directions, just two. You only want two. I think it's shields, not batteries. Shields. Batteries you want as many as you want. Shields you only want two. And it's a fun moment that I incorporate into the teach. But that's a very specific answer, but I don't know. Let's see. Group loves DM Die. What's your favorite game to teach? My group loves DM Death May Die. We haven't gotten to Season 2, but they're still surprised with Season 3. And they're still surprised. Yes, I love Death May Die. Happily play it from today until tomorrow. Dead Hand Design. How do you trim your beard? Freehand. I don't use a guard at all, by the way. I do a complete freehand. I've made mistakes in the past sometimes, but I do complete freehand with just a trimmer that I bought for $30 on Amazon. Eric Mayer, how often do you upgrade your board game components from places like Etsy or Top Shelf Gamer? So Top Shelf Gamer, I have a partnership with them. They send me free stuff, and I talk with them in my deluxe creation videos effectively. So whenever they have stuff, I get their stuff. So maybe once every 2 or 3 months, I'll grab a new shipment. Dylan, hi Alex, how do you learn so many games? I find I have a lot of trouble because I'm the main person in my gaming group teaching games, and I often forget the rules learning all these games. I find lack of sleep and a complete dedication to board games does help if you're looking for that. But genuinely, I play a new game every single day, and I am doing 97% of the games I play, I taught myself. I didn't get taught by someone else. Once in a while, someone teaches me a game. And that means I'm learning a new game every single day. And that just means you read a lot of rulebooks. And when you travel, I will download rule videos and then throw them into my ears and watch them while driving. Not watch them, I'll listen to them while driving. So I'll have Rodney Smith teaching me Heat in the background, which makes the teach later easier. Or when I'm on a flight, I'll bring rulebooks. I have a stack of rulebooks I travel with all the time. So just lots of reading rules and just dedication. It's no other answer. It's just dedication. Zerl, how is the Patreon funding going? It's been a while since you've done a financial video. Yeah, Zerl, I plan on doing one towards the end of the year. I don't want to do them too often, and frankly, and this is the part that it is what it is. Frankly, I find Patreon pushes, when I do Patreon push videos, I will get a few patrons. Usually not a ton. And so like I'm always mindful of if it's not that beneficial, do I want to do like a full dedicated video asking for money? And I will, because I have to keep the numbers like stable-ish. But the Patreon funding is going well. It's not going amazing, it's going well. Overall, I am in a very, very fortunate and privileged position in the board game space where I'm able to do what I love and love my every single minute of every single day. Do I wish it were better? Yes. Do I wish I didn't have to make some financial decisions to balance everything and make it all work? Yes. Am I still incredibly grateful that I'm here? 1,000,000% yes. It's a very, very fortunate position. Harvest K, happy Halloween. If you won't have a live chat before then, any scary games on the slate for the holiday? I'd love to play Dreadful Meadows. I have that one. I'd love to play Horrified Greek Edition. I've been trying to read that one for a bit, so yeah. What game box in your background has had its position the longest? Let your kids display their favorite games in those spaces for an episode. Oh, that could be good for a specific episode. I wouldn't do it in general. I find kid-based content does have an audience, but I do find there are people who don't resonate with it as much, and so I do keep it limited for a reason. It's not the reason they subscribed, and in general, I have no problem putting out videos that aren't the reason you subscribed, as long as a majority of the content is the reason you subscribe. Hopefully that makes sense. As far as the game box video that's been here the longest, unfortunately, the answer might be Shadespire, which I'm not even excited about as much as the rest, but it fits in the space nicely. There's a reason it's there. I think it's Shadespire. I think a lot of these are proxied in and out in different ways. If I had to guess, I'd say it's Warhammer Underworld Shadespire because of that particular copy. I'm going to find a game. My new goal. The problem is the games that have content behind them usually don't have that box shape, except Shadespire does. So now I kind of want to find some stuff to put up before then. Let's see. TI4 at Level Up. Let's make it happen. No. I will play TI4 West. If you want to come down, I will play TI4. There's a TI4 game happening around me that I was invited to. I don't know if I'll be able to make it. That I was invited to. I would do that on a regular day. Conventions are too much fun for me. I'm not committing an entire day to TI4 at a convention. Corey Christensen, no, Alex, you gotta go back and read out loud. I can't. It makes me blush. I'm not just being complimented. I am reading out loud the compliment to everyone watching. That is... Brian, Jamie, would I suggest void file unless you want to negotiate? I would suggest void file unless you want to negotiate aspects of TI. Good to know. Troy Jones, how has APA held up since the review? Great. I was hoping to play it this past week. It didn't happen, unfortunately, because my friend did not show up when he was supposed to, but I've played it since the review, and I was hoping to play it just this last week. I'm still excited about APRE. I didn't include it in my main highs because it's lower than Wayfarers. It's lower than Evenfall, but it's still very high. Can mods pin comments he skips when they are good? Aaron Taylor, the stream has slowly gone from normal Alex talking speed to like 4-time Alex trying to get through everything before 11:30. Yeah, it's 11:37, so that's not going to go well. Watching from Hospital Bad, sending greetings. I hope everyone's okay. Oh, well. Dibs on TI4. Only Super Chats do that. Good to know. Go West, realizing you're that West. Yes, Professor Meg, it's that West. Patrick, I've been on a huge Marvel kick here lately. I've been enjoying Unmatched and Dice Stone's Marvel sets lately. What is your favorite Marvel game? Marvel Zombies. Probably. I'm pretty sure. I also like Marvel Remix. A decent amount, but Marvel Zombies. The Great Dane. Love those moments in teaching that make learning a game more fun and interesting. Yeah, it was a really good question. I'm sure I have a better answer. I just don't have it right now. Swingham, excited for those thick metal coins for Obsession from the character expansion on Kickstarter? Do you have any favorite games you want to Luxify but haven't pulled the trigger on? Feast for Odin. There's a company called Modeus. I think they're called Modeus. But they have coins for Feast for Odin. Those tiny little squares. They're metal coins for Feast for Odin that go on the squares in Feast for Odin. I want those bad. I haven't gotten them yet, but I want those. Firefire Shadow Knight. Are you planning on playing any more Marvel Zombies this month, or are you waiting for the rest of the content? I've been planning. Travel schedule this month has been hectic. Like, in my weekly calendar, I keep pushing off when Marvel Zombies is happening. It is still on the radar. It is still planned. We will do all the Marvel Zombies content. Just don't know when exactly. Okay. Let's see. Hello, you're planning more Marvel Zombies. James Mosner, sorry for asking a personal question, but I've been following you and a few others for years, and you all matter to me, so are you still able to be on a talking, friendly level with Jesse and Shira? I wish them all the best. I don't have an active relationship with them. Clark, I totally agree with the statement. Alex is the same in real life as he is in his content. I met him at Megadeth Down West. They're both great to meet and talk to. A definite highlight I had there. Oh, Clark. That also means a lot. He says it's my favorite type of compliment. Keenan Freeman, do you feel the new Expedition board game deserves an expansion for an account deck? For example, discovering a new tile. A little story where we get something. I could see that being a good expansion. I think there's lots of ways you could expand on Expeditions that I think would be great, but it's also just came out. James Mosner, sorry for asking. I wonder how you're all doing. I never mind questions being asked. Successful. Next time we are all on Discord, we should just start complimenting Alex. Swebme, Megs is better in person because of the awesome hugs. Aw, Swebme. Fonzie, Alex, my wife plays board game because of you. Thanks. Now I don't have to play solo. That's awesome. Which games does she play? Allie Glidden, hugs are amazing in general, and I believe that has me caught up. At 11:39, we finally caught up. We are done, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the weekly live stream. That is not actually weekly anymore because of just travel and life in general. The weekly, which is always going to be live content on the channel. We'll just see exactly, how often we can make it happen. Next week, I will be in England, so there'll be no live stream. I believe the 4 weeks after that are totally safe, so hopefully we'll have a consistent live stream. Usually they're at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Not always, though, so we'll see. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and call this. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to go get some water or something like that because I could use some water because whatever. Professor Mag, what are your plans for the rest of the month before we say goodbye? I'm going to be doing... Okay, so we have a few things going on. Thank you, Alex. Have a good one. You made it. Congrats. I'm going to close this so I don't see this anymore. You knew you said anyway. Good job. Okay, fine. Yeah, you knew you said anyway. Good job. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close this up now. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here. You guys are all the best. It is, yeah, you guys are all the best. I'm very grateful to all of you for being here. I'm going to go and close this up. There'll be more videos going up on the channel at 1 p.m., at 4 p.m. There'll be Unmatched Adventures at 4. There'll be a Deep 6 preview from Meg at 1. There'll be more stuff going up. There's going to be later this week. There's going to be 7 games that you should try if you like Catan, which is more catered towards the general YouTube algorithm. But honestly, if you like Catan or you just want to see what I have to say about that should be a fun video too. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close up the live stream, and I will see you all in 2 weeks. Or tonight if we stream My Island. That's a possibility as well. We'll see.